Please like, share and subscribe the channel for more stories. Story 1. I was temporarily appointed to guard a sick prisoner in District Headquarters Hospital. I liked this duty because it was just for 8 hours daily while my usual is 12 straight hours, and secondly it was calm and nice. I'd just sit there on a bench in hospital ward and read some old newspaper or have a look-see at those nurses. Got nothing to complain about. Everything was fine and alright, except the very person I was guarding. The old patient. He was tall and thin, old and feeble. I don't know what was he diagnosed with, but he was just a skeleton underneath skin. Big bald head, eyes popped out the sockets, mouth wide open. It was a torture to witness him taking vaccines. No muscle at all on limbs or butt cheeks. He was indeed enduring the worst phase of his life. You'd never find him asleep. Strangely, I never felt that pity or sadness for him, which I usually would for others. He was something else. I used to think while looking at him. He's not here, he is not looking at this front wall but some other realm waiting for his acceptance or approval. He's damned and cursed. I know this sounds strange. There was something astoundingly creepy about him, I am telling you. Anyway, I used to sit beside this man for 8 hours from 4 p.m. till midnight. He would not move or talk to anyone. He wouldn't feel anything, he wouldn't look around at all. Just a straight constant gaze on the front wall. It was my 4th day there. I was tired and filled with boredom, waiting for the next guard as clock was saying 12 a.m. There was complete silence and inactivity in the ward. To kill the boredom, I picked the magazine and tried reading it again. Barely few minutes passed and I felt sudden discomfort of some sort. I raised my head and found that old man's head is turned towards me and he's staring at me. I cannot explain the uneasiness it caused. Our distance was barely 3 feet as I was sitting on a bench right beside his bed. A straight and uninterrupted gaze like he's looking into my soul for a change. I gathered some courage and looked at him like we are into who blinks first challenge. I failed, of course. Soon my colleague appeared. I sincerely thanked God. We talked briefly and I handed over my rifle and log register. Next thing. I was out of the hospital, took a cab and went to home. It must be around 1 a.m. when I reached my neighborhood. From there I had to walk on foot as streets are too narrow for vehicles. It is a 10 minutes walk to home. It's a routine for me to come home really late at night. I was walking calmly on desolate streets, packing a .30 cal sidearm. I don't remember, but I must be thinking about my online activity for next few hours. I was single back then and lived with my parents. Finally I reached the street where my home is situated on the very end. What irritated me the most about this street was that nobody would turn on their outdoor bulbs except my mother, for me. It's a long and closed street and without any light it gets really dark. So yet our neighbors were cheap that way. On the very end, a light bulb outside my home was lit. Whenever entering my street, I automatically get a little cautious but calm down after finding nobody in the street. I heard of a few robbery incidents previously, so you can understand the reason. But that night, as I was entering, I saw somebody right in middle of street. I slowed down a little to observe. He was around 40 yards ahead, walking real slow, leaned heavily on the right side in a funny stance. He was in the darkness as the only lit bulb was on the end outside my door. He isn't a robber or thief. My mind told me. I never halted but walked slowly towards him. It was just a matter of seconds for me to cross beside him and get to look at him clearly. Suddenly something snapped inside me. Something started screaming so loud in my head, for there's danger ahead. I am in danger. Who are you? I yelled loudly. And that's exactly when I was right upon him. I saw him. I saw his face. May Lord have mercy. That was the very same, very real, sick old prisoner I left in the hospital an hour ago. Leaned to the right side, wearing the same gown, barefoot. He was looking at me as I passed by him. He turned around slowly and walked to me. I can't control the shiver even at this minute of writing. I did not run, but I walked super fast and reached my home. Rang the bell furiously and prayed to God that my father gets the door as soon as he usually gets. I kept pressing the doorbell while staring that man approaching me, slowly. What is going to happen if he comes near me? Should I shout or attack him? I cannot let this incident be an embarrassment for myself. Nobody should know I just got scared of something. Thankfully my father opened the door. Before going inside, I looked back. Nope. There was nobody in the street. My father went back to his room without noticing my sweat or tremble. Maybe I did good calming down myself. I went to my room, changed uniform, and sat on a sofa. Thought about what just happened. This room has a door and window that opens towards the street as well. I did not see a ghost. No. How can this be possible? I remained silent and thinking of any legitimate reasoning that could defy this. Next thing I notice, somebody is in the street, right outside my window. I heard lamenting in low pitch. I heard footsteps. A legit shiver ran through my spine. I am experiencing paranormal activity. There is a ghost outside my window. I didn't run to other room, I just sat there, leaned my head and closed my eyes to concentrate on the words he was mumbling. I couldn't understand. But I can tell you. He was mourning, expressing his grief. And then it stopped. No sound of any kind. I could feel that nobody is outside my home now. And then it struck me. Why don't I call the goddamned hospital? I should talk to my colleague to ask how is our patient doing. I picked my mobile and lo and behold, an SMS from same colleague had arrived half an hour ago, saying, "Neman, don't come for hospital duty tomorrow. Sick prisoner died shortly after you left. I am going home too. Let's take a day off and we'll report back to police station together." No matter how good I spin this to convince myself it wasn't paranormal, I fail. Because I saw him. It was him, the sick prisoner. But I don't believe in ghosts. What do I make of it then? What seems the best explanation of all this according to my knowledge and beliefs? Readers may disagree. It wasn't a case of hallucination. I saw someone, not human. I am stressing. Story 2. When I was barely 7 or 8 years old, my grandfather used to lock me up in the bathroom and switch off the lights. He would always say, "When you stop crying I will open the door." It always took me 5 to 10 minutes to calm myself and shut my mouth. Then as promised he would open the door. I was scared of darkness like any other kid. See, you made it alive. There is nothing like ghosts. My family is very religious and performs yagya every morning. I won't say they don't believe in ghosts because they had told me a few ghost stories. Most popular being the story of Belat Baba. My grandparents and my maternal grandparents are farmers while my father is in government service, so I was brought up in the city. People of my maternal grandparents' village have constructed a small temple for Belat Baba. My grandfather told me that Belat Baba is of Preta Yoni. Preta Yoni being souls who have no defined lifespan. He told me they are real but they cause no harm to people who stay pure. Also, science says that spirits do exist. I don't know how much to believe, but I respect my grandparents and always love talking to them. No matter what, I always listened to them even though I held my own opinions but never debated with them. I am 21 years old. I have heard so many paranormal stories by now but had doubts about them. Till the age of 18, I used to sleep with a little lamp switched on. I don't know why, maybe because I was afraid of the dark, or was it because all the horror movies had to come to my mind only while I slept, or maybe because there is a cremation ground adjacent to our colony. After 18, I was convinced that there was nothing like this, and overthinking is the thing which causes hallucinations or some kind of sleep disorder which leads to people spotting ghosts. So, I had the courage to switch off the lights now. But this ideology of mine was not for long. Right now I am in a relationship with a guy who was a kind of playboy before his ex committed suicide. Her ex was a lovely lady of 22 years old who loved him more than anything else. She used to get jealous of every other girl who used to talk to him. She was a topper. But one day she committed suicide out of nowhere when they had a fight. It was just a fit of 5 minutes anger which led to such a drastic step. They had been in relationship for almost 5 years. I came into a relationship with him then just to help him get out of the depression. He had been my friend for 2 years before this took place. But then, after 4 months of our relationship, I suddenly started feeling chills down my spine while I slept, and whenever I pulled my sheet back I could see a black hazy smoke figure standing at the corner. I sleep alone. I used to sweat, and that figure presence gave me a hatred aura, as if telling me to leave him or stay away from him. I felt hesitant sharing this with my boyfriend because I was afraid he might start thinking a lot about her again and destroy his career, as he already felt guilty. Instead, I shared with my best friend, to which she told me that it is nothing like that and it might be the result of me overthinking about her. Well, it was true. I used to think about her a lot. I used to overthink so much that I saw dreams about her. Dreams in which she used to narrate the whole story of him and her. I used to cry for her. I know it sounds crazy, but I felt for her. The next day it happened again. I made a habit to go to bed at 10 p.m. daily or early, just in the hope to avoid that. But at 2 a.m. or so I woke up every day, and again that smoky figure and hatred in the room. I used to cry to sleep. I started asking my mom to sleep with me, but it did not stop. But still, I felt a bit comforting that mom was sleeping beside me. One day while sleeping I felt as if something was sucking out my energy and I was petrified. I could not move and felt very cold. I was shivering. I tried looking back, but as I said, I was petrified, I could not. After staying like that for almost 5 minutes I felt my body pushed away as if some kind of a jerk. I looked back and nothing was there, but the area looked unnaturally dark. I felt my arms and there were goosebumps and uneasiness. I remembered my friend suggested I recite Hanuman Chalisa, and so with the few lines I knew, I repeated them again and again with my closed eyes as if begging to be rescued. After reciting it for some 10 times I felt some ease and warmth. Suddenly my body was relaxed, and when I found the courage to look back it felt as if there was no one in the room. The moonlight was more prominent now. After 1 year of our relationship, my boyfriend showed signs of happiness and recovery. There were more days I could sleep properly. But again I saw a dream about her again, even though I had stopped thinking about her. This time the dream was different. She said, "No one knows I am back, neither my family nor him. I came just to talk to you. I miss him, but I know he is good now. Thank you for taking care of him." This dream was full of happiness and warmth. I was quiet all the time, as if being controlled, while she spoke for most of the time. It was like a visitation dream. She was smiling all the time as if she has passed on from this world. It occurred to me at 5 a.m. I woke up after this and felt very weak. I did not know whether it was really a visitation dream or not, but that smoky figure had stopped showing up. I don't know what was that. Maybe I had been hallucinating because of overthinking, or maybe some kind of mental illness took hold of me for some time. But this sure was something paranormal. Now I don't know whether to believe in them or not. I am still with my boyfriend and he seems to be doing good. Initially it was only to help him, but eventually, we fell for each other. We have completed 2 years. I never shared this with him, as he would be better off without knowing this, and for his own well-being. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe the channel for more stories.